Hi guys, if you've been browsing your local drugstore lately, you've probably seen a lot of new products from Revlon. I'm going to be talking about several of them in this video, giving you my review on them. I could have done individual videos on all these, but I just thought, hey, I feel kind of at a place right now where I feel like I can review all of them, so I'm just going to do them all in one video. So that's going to include the Colorstay Whipped Cream makeup, also this Colorstay shadow stick, and the Kissable Balm stains. First thing I'm going to talk about is the Revlon Colorstay Whipped Cream makeup, and it says 24-hour wear. I have it in the shade True Beige, which I have it on now. I feel like it's not perfect for my skin tone. I feel like it's just a little bit dark, but it was very hard to make that shade decision with these glass jars. I mean, I just kind of thought, well, that's maybe about right, but it's pretty close. My first impression on this was, why are they putting out a cream makeup, which I consider to be one of the heaviest forms of makeup, right at the start of summer? I thought that seemed a little odd, but then as I used it, I came to realize that this is not as heavy as you might expect. On the packaging is really big. In my opinion, it's a little bigger than it needs to be, because you look here, you've got a lot of extra glass going on. The product is actually right in here, so it's got a thick layer of glass all around here. I actually love the way this feels going on. As you look at it here, I mean, it looks like, okay, it's really picking up some shine. It looks like it'd be kind of liquidy. It feels to me almost like the texture of pudding, I think, and I really like the way it goes on. I feel like with regular Revlon Colorstay, it was kind of hard to blend. You had to work rather quickly. Once you got regular Revlon Colorstay on your face, you really had to work with it fast because it was going to set very quickly. This, you can kind of dab it on your face, you can take a little more time, and it just feels really good as it blends in, and it feels a little bit more lightweight. I think it applies really well just with your fingers, but I do love using my Sigma F80 brush. I think I talked about that before. It's a nice kind of flat top, dense kabuki style brush that you can really buff it in circular motions, and I think that works really well. As far as just the coverage, the appearance of this product on your skin, it reminds me of Revlon Colorstay in that I consider it to be kind of a medium to full coverage foundation. This sets to be a little more natural looking on the skin than Colorstay does. Colorstay, you know, some people will say, oh, it just comes off cakey on me or whatever, and you know, there are ways you can combat that by using a damp sponge and things like that, but I feel like this just has a slightly more natural appearance. I can't even say that one is more matte than the other, because there's definitely no shimmer and really no glow in this, but it just seems like the texture, just the way this is texture-wise, it just has a little more natural look on the skin. I feel like this is good for evening out your skin tone as a whole. It's not single-handedly going to tackle your dark circles, your sunspots, maybe acne scarring, things like that. You know, some of those spots are still going to show through. It's going to become a little more even, but you're still going to be able to see those things. So that's something that you may have to tackle with some concealer after the foundation, but I do expect to do that after pretty much any foundation I use anyway. Staying power with this is really, really good. I also consider regular Colorstay to have really good staying power. It has the little 24-hour wear thing on there. I don't even want to know. I do not want to, you know, have this on for a full 24 hours and then look at myself and say, hey, I look great. No, I just don't want the makeup on my skin that long. What I have on my face now has been on for 11 hours, and I purposely did not touch this up so you could see what it continues to look like after a day's work. When I initially put it on, I did put a little bit of powder on because I wasn't going to go on the air without like kind of feeling like I was setting this. So I put a light amount of powder on over this, and I have some bronzer and blush too. But I'm really paying attention to this T-zone area because this is my danger zone. This is where it starts to kind of break down because I have combo to oily skin. So if, you know, that's what seems to attack foundation the fastest on my face. And I feel like it's kept that, you know, natural matte appearance throughout the day, which is great. Who is this good for? I would say normal, combo, even dry skin, I think this would be a really good texture for you to try. If you have really severely oily skin, I still think that the original Colorstay for oily to combo skin is probably the best thing for you to try. I mean, that seems to be the foundation with the least amount of excess moisture, and it really lasts a long time, and it does have a very kind of matte appearance to it. So I think if you've got severe oil struggles, that might be best, but other skin types, I think this might be something you want to try if you felt like the appearance of regular Colorstay wasn't quite right for you. Overall, I'm going to keep using this. I really do enjoy it. While the packaging is a little bulky, I like the way it performs. Staying power is hugely important to me, and I like the way it feels as it goes on. It goes on very smooth and evenly, and it covers like you would expect a foundation to, so I like it. All right, the Revlon Colorstay Smoky Shadow Stick. First impression on this, I was pretty skeptical because there haven't been a ton of cream eyeshadow products from the drugstore that have been truly long wearing, but this did have the Colorstay name on it, so of course I was holding out a little more hope for this one. The shade I have is Smolder, and it's kind of like a really light icy blue on one end and a very dark teal on the other end, and this is what the swatch looks like. You can see they're both shimmery. One end of this stick is rounded, and the other end almost looks like a lipstick, like it's been shaped a little bit more. Mine might be losing its shape a little bit more, but it's actually got like a little bit of a tapered tip going on, which you're going to inevitably lose as you continue to use it more because there isn't a method to sharpen it back to the way it was. Application-wise, this glides on the lids really easily, but being a cream product, it's going to be kind of hard to blend it throughout your crease, and that's just kind of comes with the territory of cream products. You know, we're so used to grabbing an eyeshadow brush and using a powder shadow and going back and forth in our crease, but this, you know, you've got to kind of get in there with your finger, and I was actually wearing this and only this in my last video, the Flawless Face routine, and I kind of was having some struggles getting it blended because I had the lighter shade on the lid, the darker shade starting to get it up in the crease, and it was like, as I rubbed with my finger, I almost felt like I was taking too much product away as opposed to just blending out what was there. So it's kind of difficult in that sense. Staying power for me when I use just this with no primer and no powder shadow on top to set it, I would say the staying power was average. After about 5 hours, I would say the intensity of the product really went downhill. It wasn't, the color of it really wasn't showing up that much anymore. There was a little bit of creasing, not much, but I would say there was a noticeable difference in the way this product looked halfway through my day as opposed to when I just put it on. Used on its own, this does not beat the staying power of the Maybelline Color Tattoos, or Milani has some new shadow sticks out that are really, really good that I like, that I will review for you soon. There are other ways people will choose to use shadow sticks, and the way I used this today was I actually wore it under some powder eyeshadow. Staying power is fine, no problem. Made sure not to get too much on there. It kind of intensified the shadow that I put on top of it, and it worked well. And most cream products, assuming you don't put too much on, most will work well that way. What's outstanding about a cream shadow product is when it can be worn on its own and you have no worries about where that thing's going to go. And this, I say, is not totally worry-free because it faded and it creased a little bit. However, this is not as bad as the CoverGirl double-ended Smoky Shadow Blast, I think they were called. Those were really, really greasy and creasy, and this is not quite as bad as that. Let's talk about the Revlon Just Bitten Kissable Balm Stains. My first impression on these when they first came out, I was just giddy with excitement because I love a jumbo pencil lip format, and I knew I loved the Tarte Lipsurgence products, so when I thought something's coming out that's gonna be like that but a lower price, I'm really into it. It is a jumbo stick that's going to actually twist up from the bottom. So when you need more product, you twist it up, you don't sharpen it. What's going to get a little annoying is as you use them, they're not gonna maintain that kind of a tip. I'll show you what happens with one of my Tarte ones. This is eventually what happens to a tip like that. This is my Tarte Lipsurgence, and it just gets rounded off. It's not like super wide. I mean, these are jumbo lip pencils, but I mean, you can still have some nice control with them, but they're just not going to be as precise once you wear them down a little. In terms of how these apply, they go on super smooth, not at all greasy. When you first put it on, you are going to notice that little bit of shine. I feel like with most of these, they really are accurate to the color that you see on the outside of the packaging. That's the color you get. Also, they're all kind of creamy in nature. They don't have a bunch of shimmer in the stick, which is kind of nice, because if it's going to turn into sort of a more long-wearing product where you're going to have that kind of balm finish, and then once that wears off you're going to have a stain, you don't want to see just random chunks of glitter dry kind of just remaining on your lips. It's weird, and I've had that happen with other products that have contained a lot of sparkle, so I like that these are just creamy and you don't have to worry about that. Staying power wise, I can wear one of these brighter shades and actually still have color left over at the end of the day without reapplying, so that's pretty cool. You definitely can reapply these. For example, today I'm wearing this nude shade called Precious, and I did reapply it before I did this video, and so just because they're long wearing and they're kind of a stain doesn't mean you can't go right over the top of it and give yourself a fresh application here and there. The more colorful your balm stain is, let's say something like one of these, the more staying power you're going to have left over at the end of the day. The more color is going to be saturated and obviously still on your lips as the day goes by. A shade like this or a shade like this are not going to be as evident on your lips as time goes on. And part of that is because what's helping this stand out on my lips right now, freshly applied, is the fact that there's that little bit of shine right there. Once that shine goes away, it's not going to be as easy to notice that it's there anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I don't fault it for that, because I like this color and I will gladly reapply it. But what I'm getting at is the lighter shades, even this shade, you know, it's a little bit lighter, so as the day wears on, it's not going to be as obvious on your lips. These are going to give more of that stained feel to your lips. As far as color selection, I don't have everything, but I have a lot of them, and I think there's a really good selection, especially in the pinks and berry sort of family. So I'm going to swatch these for you and tell you about which ones are my favorites. Okay, with the colors here, first we have Precious. That's this one. It's right here at the top, and that's the one I have on my lips right now. So think kind of, this is your classic nude one. Then we have Charm, and this one's kind of a light peachy color. It's right under here. Again, it's just a little bit lighter, a little more peachy, whereas the other one is more nude. And then I've also got this one in Rendezvous, which is your corally orange. Really, really orangey shade there, so keep that in mind. Some medium pinks to talk about. First up, this one here is called Honey, and it's kind of like a neutral, dusty rose type shade. It's not real bright, but it's got that little bit of pink tone that takes it up a notch from being nude. Then we've got a shade called Cherish. That's this one right here. So this one we're seeing a little bit of a lilac tone to it. It's very pretty. I mean, I think it's really flattering on, but it's just got that hint of lilac feel. Not too much though. And then this one is Sweetheart. This is probably your most classic pink in my opinion. Okay, the final three that I have. This is Lovesick right here, and you can see where Sweetheart was a little more classic pink. Lovesick is incorporating just a little more purple. It really does look brighter on the lips, has more that fuchsia vibe going on. This one right here is kind of a maroonish burgundy, and that one's called Crush. That's this one. And then my final one, this is Romantic, and this is the red, and it's kind of a like tomato red. It's got a little bit of an orangey tone in there, but I really, really like it. I have been falling in love with this shade and wearing it a whole lot. I think it's really great. I gotta say, I kind of got a thing for all of them. I like this nude shade because I like the shade. I overall prefer the brighter colors just because I like that they function better. Staying power wise throughout the day, that stain shows up more, but I do think this is a really pretty nude, and I like the way it looks with my skin tone. I also like Cherish. I've talked about this one before. It's a really pretty pink, and I think it's fun to wear a pink that has just that little bit of lavender twist to it. As I said, I like Romantic a lot, which is nice red, and I also like Lovesick. Think of Cherish just really taken up a notch brightness wise. The others are great too. I mean, I like Honey, I like Sweetheart, I think that the orange one is fun too, but just the ones I've been wearing a lot more lately have probably been these four here. Really, I mean, I am making my best effort to collect all of those because I like Tarte Lipsurgence, and I think these compare to those a lot, even with a little better staying power. They also have kind of a minty scent to them that I notice most when I first apply them. I don't notice it that much after I have it on for a while, but I mean, the texture, the feel, I just love them, and I love the vibrancy of the colors as well. Thank you so much for watching this big bulk review of new Revlon things. I really try to thoroughly test out all the products before I review them. I was tempted to put out reviews sooner on some of this stuff, but I felt like I just needed to use it a little bit more just to be certain about it. So thank you very much for watching. Let me know what your video requests are as always, and have a great day. Bye.